basically explanatory of homosexuality. So are you basing your understanding of homosexuality based off of religion?
No. I don't make religious arguments against anything. I always make secular arguments because I'm always arguing with people who are secular.
Okay. So basically, if you didn't have to make secular arguments, would you be making religious arguments right now?
I could be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
So how do I know that your rejection of my information or my theory is not just based in basically a post hoc rationalization of well, I already know God doesn't want gay people, so basically I'm going to ignore any evidence that might contradict my narrative.
I don't see why even if it was, it would matter.
I think it absolutely matters when I give you a perfectly rational explanation for why people exist, and you don't give a shit.
You seem to be questioning the motivation rather than the information, and I don't think it really matters what my motivation would be for questioning this if I'm doing it in a secular way, and you're not able to contend with it very well.
I think I'm contending with it just fine, thank you.
Well, I'm just saying it from my perspective. Why does the motivation matter so much to you? As to why I produce this information against homosexuality.
Because I'll actually explain that. I'll actually answer that. So, for instance, if you have a religious motivation for why you don't think that homosexuality is a thing or why bisexuality is a thing, I can't contend with the orders of God. I'm a human being. I am just a fucking ant. I'll explain.
Sure.
I'm a fucking ant on a dirt ball in the void of space, and within the realm of basically religious thought, I am utterly insignificant unless you basically get back to God loves all of his creation, right? So, on the scale of things, I do not have the authority in order to contradict God from a religious worldview, right? So if you believe that God himself came down to earth, that he inspired prophets in order to write the Bible, that these prophets were very specific in the rules that they handed down to humanity, and that as a result, whenever humanity disobeys this religious teaching, they are actually straying from the will of God. It does not matter how many secular arguments I present to you about scientific theory or endocrinological stuff or genetics or any of that kind of stuff, because ultimately at the end of the day, I'm a person who's arguing with the will of God. So you can present me with secular arguments, but I'm not necessarily convinced that you would be convinced by any of them, even if they were sound.
Is your job's not to convince me in a debate. It would be to convince the viewership who was watching the debate so that they could make up their own minds. So even if I was arguing specifically secular arguments and my motivation for doing so was based 100% on the Bible, I don't really see how that would matter very much.
Okay. Well, then we move on to something else.
Counterpoint, just so you know, we understand that, you don't think you can convince us, but you're here to put your idea out to everyone else, and we're here to contend with it. The point of debate, your opponent is, you both hit a moment where an unstoppable force and an immovable object. You guys are just here to make a discussion for the audience to view, and then they make their judgment. So it doesn't really matter, right?